Hi, and welcome to March's edition of Northern BC News for real estate investors. As always, I'm very excited to bring you the most up-to-date news that is relevant for people that want to invest in real estate in Northeast BC. Number one, I'm actually going to talk about Russia. That might surprise you a little bit here, but Russia has a very big impact on the natural gas industry in Canada, which of course is very prevalent in Northeast BC. That's one of the big industries that affects that area. So in Russia right now, obviously, there's a lot of political instability with their invading the Ukraine here at the moment. And why that's important to you is because when you're a CEO of a Shell or an Exxon or one of these large companies, and you're wanting to write a multi-billion-dollar check to build an LNG facility, you're looking for a place that is boring, very politically stable. And it doesn't get much more politically stable than Canada, especially when you compare that with a country like Russia, which would be considered competition as far as having lots of natural gas reserves. Another reason this is important is because Europe gets about 30% of its natural gas from Russia right now, and they're looking at possibly diversifying their supply. And right now, they're in talks with the United States to get some natural gas from the United States. And what that means is that if the United States is sending more of their natural gas to Europe, it means they're sending less of their natural gas to Asia, which is the market that we're targeting. So you see there was a great article this month about Asia needing to look possibly to other places other than the US to get their natural gas. And I believe Canada is definitely one of those places here. So again, this instability in Russia and the Ukraine is a very difficult thing, I'm sure, over there in the region. But as far as investing in real estate in Northeast BC, it actually has a very positive impact, I believe. Also this month is the exciting announcement of two new proposed LNG facilities in BC. The first by Stewart LNG, who's looking to build their proposed LNG facility in a place called Stewart. That's where it gets its name from. This is just a little bit north of Kitimat and Prince Rupert. This is a very big announcement, and they've already said that they've filed for an export permit for 25 years. They've also announced that they want to be up and running by 2017, and that they've already signed agreements with two major energy companies based in two large Chinese cities to be able to sell their natural gas to those groups when the plant is up and running. So very excellent news for BC. Also, another entrant is Steelhead LNG. This is entrant number 2 this month, who is also looking at it's a Vancouver-based company looking at building an LNG facility, probably in BC. They haven't announced exactly where that location is going to be. Now, I know there's a lot of LNG plants that have been proposed, and it's hard to keep track of all of them. I can show you here. Here's a picture that shows you how many LNG plants there were proposed when we first started doing presentations and talking about Northeast BC. There were 3 proposed plants at the time. And if I show you now the same picture of how many plants are proposed today, you can see here this is just in BC. There are also 2 additional plants that are proposed in Oregon that bring the total to up over to 15 plants that would plan to use natural gas from Northeast BC. So as you can imagine, we're very excited for prospects in the region. Other big news this month includes a lot of progress from Petronas and Progress Energy as they look to build their LNG plant in Prince Rupert. Number one, they've said that they've actually tripled the amount of the proven reserves that they have of natural gas. So what I mean by that is Petronas and Progress have to make sure that they have enough natural gas in Northeast BC to be able to satisfy the 25-year contracts that they're writing to sell that natural gas. So they have about triple the natural gas that they had before right now that they've proven up. And this is a very big thing because this impacts their final investment decision moving forward, just making sure that they have enough gas to be able to satisfy those contracts. So very good progress there. They've also completed their $1.5 billion purchase of natural gas lands in Northeast BC from Talisman. So again, very aggressively moving forward in the region. And then last but not least, Progress has also filed their environmental impact statement, which is another major milestone for this LNG plant. And I continue to believe that this will be the first LNG plant out of the gate, and they are very much on track for their final investment decision in late 2014. I think another exciting piece of news this month has been, and it may not have been on the radar of everyone, But in Canada, it's talking about selling off a $2 billion piece of land in the US. In Canada in general right now is looking at selling off what they call their non-core pieces of land or their non-core assets and focusing on their main projects, their core assets. And of course, in Northeast BC, they have a lot of land in and around Dawson Creek that is considered to be one of their core assets. And I went and had a look through their corporate presentation they just released in March. And if you look at that, a lot of the lands in and around Dawson Creek, they have plans, accelerated plans to do work in these areas. This is great news for investors in and around Dawson Creek. And I'm starting to believe that Dawson Creek is starting to look like a very good value play for investors. Right now, there's about a 15% price difference between Dawson Creek and Fort St. John. So people that are wanting to get into the region but don't quite want to pay that higher price point, Dawson Creek is starting to look like a very good option, especially as in Canada is starting to move in and work more aggressively in the region. Thank you very much for checking out this month's edition of Northern BC News for Real Estate Investors. I know that Northeast BC is on many of your radars, I believe for good reason, and I'm doing my best to bring you the most up-to-date information on the region to decide whether it's a place you would like to invest. As you may know, we are a developer in the area and we have many opportunities for investors if they would like to participate. We have townhomes, duplexes, condos, single-family homes. We have a little bit of everything. So once you've made the decision that this is actually a market you want to invest in, I believe there's a very good chance there will be a fit with one of our products. Of course, you can always email and call me at any time, and I'm happy to help get you the information that you need to make good investment decisions for your future. Thank you.